My problem generally with the last two rounds of UAP hearings is the fact that we've stopped hearing from insiders who have knowledge of the programs. It started becoming a show instead of an investigation. Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. What were your thoughts on yesterday's UAP hearing? Do you think it was a great step forwards, or do you think it was a distraction? Do you think the evidence was great, or are we looking at some really bad decisions when it comes to showing some of these videos? I have mixed feelings about yesterday's UAP hearing. First of all, George Knapp and the other people that came forward, I think that they did an absolutely fantastic job, especially George Knapp's statement. I don't know why Luna cut him off when he was making his opening statement and decided to show that video at the beginning, which didn't really look like it was much and could have been anything that we didn't actually see again. And then we saw the other video later on, but I'll get into that in a minute and what my problems are with that. My problem generally with the last two rounds of UAP hearings is the fact that we've stopped hearing from insiders who have knowledge of the programs. It started becoming a show instead of an investigation. You know, what happened to the people like David Grusch? What has happened to the whistleblowers coming forward that have direct knowledge of the programs in the US and in the deep state that is responsible for, you know, getting this information and keeping it from humanity? All we're seeing is testimonies from people that happen to work in some official capacity for the US government, whether that be in CIA or in the Army, Navy, or military just generally. And what makes their testimonies any different and more valid to the testimonies of people like myself and you guys watching? You know, why is it because it was seen hovering over an Air Force base more important than the fact that it was seen hovering above a small town in Lancashire, for instance? I don't know why I said Lancashire, but there you go, shout out to Lancashire. So I don't get it. This is the problem. You know, earlier on this year, or tail end of last year, it all bleeds into one for me at the moment, we had Jake Barber come out. He did his great interview with Ross. He started with Skywatch, and we've seen some interesting things come out of that. Jake Barber has inside knowledge of deep state programs, crash retrieval programs. That's the stuff we need on congressional record, not the red, you know, cube or a massive triangle that was seen by, you know, military personnel, which is fascinating and very, very interesting. And these guys are very brave to come forward, especially in, you know, with their military record and everything like that coming into question. And I know that they have had, you know, reprisals for this, and I'm not taking any of that away from them. I think they're incredibly brave, but we need people to come forward like Jake Barber at these congressional hearings as well. Because these are the guys that, you know the names, know the offices, know the locations. This is the stuff that we need on record, not personal accounts. It's crazy. Now, my second point is the video with the Hellfire missile being shot at it, the object. Now, at first, I admit, when I first saw it, I thought this is impressive, but I don't really know what I'm looking at. What's going on here? And then I watched an explanation of it, and somebody was saying it was a soft target. So initially I thought, you know, oh, so maybe it's more of an organic material or something like that, because the Hellfire missile doesn't explode on impact. It flies right through the thing. And then it kind of looks like it's a balloon that's popped and is falling from the sky. I don't know which it is. I know lots of people are up in arms about it and making assumptions on X, online, and social media channels. But I think we need to slow down and just look at this from multiple angles. First of all, could it be a balloon? Could it be a weather balloon? Yes, it could be, by the way it seems like it pops. But then 3 or 4 orbs come out of the back and go into formation and then carry on flying off, which doesn't make sense if it's a weather balloon. Could be something else. I'm not sure. Then there's the possibility that, well, whatever this shape was, maybe egg-shaped craft, tic-tac-shaped craft, maybe it was carrying what was inside of it, and when it popped or when it was under duress, It sort of changed shape and these things came out. Also a possibility. What I don't think is a possibility, though, is that this was a hard object and that the Hellfire missile simply bounced off, which is kind of what they were suggesting in Congress yesterday. First of all, if a Hellfire missile had a direct contact with a hard surface, it would have exploded. The Hellfire missile didn't explode, it carried on. If it'd gone through a balloon, it wouldn't have exploded. It's going through a soft object, it wouldn't have had enough impact. And if it was going through something organic, then maybe it would do the same thing. Maybe we're looking at an orb here, so what it went through was essentially a big ball of light, but it disrupted it and whatever it was carrying on the inside came out. I don't know. There's too many questions about this video footage and there wasn't enough information given. You know, what speed was the object flying at? Was it going faster than a weather balloon would possibly go? That would answer that question. What altitude was it at? What was its exact location? Who filmed it? Are there other witnesses? We need all this information. You can't just put a video out without provenance. You can't, because it could be anything. The US government need to get an awful lot better at this. I appreciate the efforts of yesterday and there was some incredibly good information, but it's not good enough. And all it does at the moment when we make these slapdash attempts at showing disclosure to the normies, and there's all these holes in the testimonies and in the information in the videos and questions that we don't have the answers to, that doesn't help disclosure. That puts us back. So, next time you think about having a UAP hearing in Congress, damn make sure you have all the questions ready to the information that you're putting forward, because the last thing we need in this community is more goddamn questions. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Put them in the comment section below, and yeah. Good luck out there, everybody. Keep looking up and stop turning on each other. It's ridiculous. Love you all. Bye-bye.